fall's the time to really get things prepared for next year, and there's a lot of different things we can do to get our yard prepared and ready for growing season next year. And the first thing we probably should do is get our garden prepared for next year. The thing you've got to remember when you're preparing your garden and tilling it and adding organic matter is variety is crucial, that we have a variety of different materials that we're adding to our garden. So instead of putting 4 inches of steer compost out there, let's do a variety of different things and maybe put a half an inch to an inch of steer compost, and then add some leaves and some dry grass clippings and compost from your compost pile, or peat moss, or soil building compost. There's a lot of different materials that we can use out there. Even straw works great, or you can grow a green manure crop with clover or buckwheat or vetch. There's a lot of different things we can add to our soil. We always want to add things to our soil, but doing too much of one particular material can cause a lot of problems. So we'll usually do a variety of different materials in a half inch to an inch layer at a time, add some nitrogen, add some soil activator, some humate to help decompose all that material, and then we'll till it all in, and next spring you'll have just an amazing garden. So remember, variety is the key, and using a lot of different things, but be sure and add that nitrogen and that humate to help decompose and break all that material down. You'll have a great garden for next year. Also a great time to get out and clean up your perennials, and so you want to trim those perennials right down to the ground. I'll get my hedge trimmers out, and I've already taken down my iris. They were about this tall, and I've taken my iris down real short. All my perennials have been trimmed down to the ground, and we've clean those up this time of year, because if you don't, then you'll have to clean them up in the spring when it's kind of muddy and wet and you got all this dead plant material. And we can take all that stuff that we trim down, throw it out into the garden and till that all in, and just add that organic matter back in. So it works out really well to clean up those perennials, get those winterized and prepped for next year in the fall, instead of waiting till next spring. Roses, great time to put rose collars in around the roses, and add some mulch. Usually we'll do our cocktail of magnesium sulfate and potash, a quarter cup of each around each rose. Water that in really well, and then use your rose collars or some chicken wire or something to hold your mulch in around your roses. So excellent time to protect those roses before the soil really freezes and the weather really changes and gets cold. It usually happens around the first part of December is when weather really changes and we start to get some winter weather. So try and get that done as soon as possible, so that you don't wait too long and weather changes on us, we can't get outside and get anything done. And great time to wrap evergreen shrubs as well too. So if you've got shrubs that when the snow collects in them and the branches kind of all bend down through the winter time, try and protect those shrubs. And we can even wrap our shade trees as well too this time of year with the white fabric, and try and wrap those trees and protect them. So we can wrap our shrubs. We've got burlap here, 4 and 2 and 4 inch strips that would work perfectly. I've also got big 4 and 6 foot wide pieces that you can wrap your shrubs with, and then I've also got the tree wrap to protect the trunks of the tree from winter scald. But the last thing we really want to try and take care of is the lawn, and it's a great time to mow your lawn much closer in the fall. And so as we do our last mowing or two, we'll just bring that mower down really close. We'll mow it just about as close as we can get it, and that will really help with diseases and keep your grass from having problems next spring. But what it really helps with is with voles. And so I've got some repellents that work great on the voles. Here's our granular repellent from Sweeney's. This bag will cover about 10,000 square feet. It lasts for about a month, and I usually like to put that on right after I've done my last mowing, usually towards the latter part of November. We'll get that last mowing done and mow it down really close. Put the vole repellent on. The voles can do a ton of damage through the wintertime. If they get underneath the snow, they'll make little nests, and there'll be little trails that run all over the place, and you'll have a lot of damage as soon as the snow melts in the springtime. So by getting a granulated repellent down like the Sweeney's, or liquid like this Mulgo from Fertilome, very easy to apply. You can just hook that onto your hose and just spray the areas down. Both of these are made from castor oil, so they're totally safe to use. They won't hurt pets, they won't hurt people, but the voles and the mice just hate the smell of it, and so they will just leave and go somewhere else, and they'll stay out of your yard for pretty much the winter time if you can get that that down right before that first snow that really stays and really sticks. So great time to mow the lawn down really close, put down your vole repellent. If you've had really bad problems with mice and voles, usually we'll make some bait stations. We'll take a 2-inch PVC pipe, cut them into 12-inch long pieces, and then they're hollow inside, so you can put some bait inside, put those in strategic locations around your yard. You can put it, you know, around the deck or underneath the deck or along the fence line, or underneath a couple shrubs outside, wherever you think those voles or those mice are trafficking through the winter time. You can take a bait like this high yield mole and gopher bait, a very small little granule. It's got a little scooper on there. We can take a scoop, put it inside the tube so it sits right there in the middle. It's protected from the weather and the elements, and the mice and the voles like to come in, and they're a little bit paranoid, so they'll go inside the tube, they'll find the food in there, they're comfortable because there's an exit on both sides, they'll eat the bait, and should take care of them through the winter time. So between setting up some bait stations like this and doing a repellent, you can do a great job at controlling voles and mice through the winter time as well.